Got it all. So you have got this incredible business, or you are a high level exec and taken names, and you've checked the boxes of life and live in large, right? Or are you? Or are you that same woman that all of your friends admire, think you've got your shit together, only on the inside, you are not feeling it? And there's a piece of you that knows that something is amiss and you're just not quite sure how to put your finger on it. If that's you, then hi, my name is Jen, the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a transformational purpose coach and expert. And what I do is work with middle-aged women who are exactly in that space. You might not even necessarily know yet exactly kind of where you want to be going, but you just know that it's time to make a change, right? And so what I do in my work is I support women in getting clarity around their signature energetic way of being in their purpose, right? So it's a little bit different than a typical purpose way of looking at things. And what doing is kind of elevating that awareness to then call in and create the influence and impact that you know that you're meant to create in the world. So that's kind of what I love to do. And so what we're going to be talking about today is abundance and purpose. So I'm super excited to process and share a little bit about my thoughts and ideas about this because I've got a coming up event. I've got the Manifesting Abundance Masterclass beginning in September. I'm super excited about it. I hope you'll decide to join me. And so this month, the content and theme is going to be abundance. Next month is manifesting. So it's a really beautiful kind of flow between the 2 months and the content we're going to be talking about and learning, and been talking about it in my membership. So it's been a really fun time to kind of examine and ask questions and things like that. So we're going to dive into that today. And so for those of you that don't know me, if you're new to me, my site, whatever, I just want to introduce myself and tell you that a little bit of my background, we're going to drop into it for a second, then we're going to move on because you don't really care so much. But what makes me an expert in any of this? So my background is in clinical social work. I have had over 20 years of psychotherapy practice. I'm certified in numerous healing modalities. Some of them are Reiki and yoga. I have a specialty in meditation. I have a certification in motion code. I do kind of all the things. And so the way that I do that work in my coaching is combining that psychological background with all of those healing modalities that I love. And so we sort of shake things up in a choose your own adventure style of coaching journey, which is really awesome. And I also bring a lot of that same idea to my membership because I'm kind of the same everywhere I go, right? So it's I just bring the same kind of tools and we're just working on a little bit different content. And so I just wanted, if you're new here, to let you know a little bit about who I am and how I work. And I would tell you this, if you were a new client to me, and I often said this across the couch from clients when I was doing psychotherapy with them, it's, nice to meet you, welcome in, these are the things, this is what you need to know about privacy, this is what you need to write. And then I would say, and I want you to know a little bit about me, 2 things. 1, I pretty much say it like it is. Pretty much say it like it is. And 2, I'm going to bring humor. And so that's definitely the delivery system of every piece of my work is going to have some humor, some fun, some entertainment. To me, learning and growing shouldn't be boring and hard, right? We can do it in a really fun way. And so I'm really about kind of bringing some novelty to when you're spending time with me. So just know that those are kind of my shticks here. Okay, let's talk about purpose and alignment and abundance and what the hell that all means. So first of all, when I was thinking about this today, and I really wanted to make sure I was pulling a thread for people that are listening across the time to understand kind of how things intersect, right? That's really important, is to connect the dots. So for me, purpose and alignment. So if you're like, what is she looking at? I took some notes on my iPad today before I hopped in, so I made sure I could keep my eyes on the prize here. It's all about alignment. And so what we want to be thinking about is when I'm in full alignment, if I'm standing in a place in my life where I'm feeling really settled and grounded and rooted and knowing why I'm here, right? Purpose is about meaning, giving your life meaning. Why are you here? Literally, right? And abundance is bountifulness and plentifulness, right? So we want to think about just much of anything, right? So many of us, when we think about abundance, like yesterday I was talking to my membership, I'm like, what's the first thing you think of? They're like, money. I'm like, right. Super typical first initial response for most of us. If I say, would you like more abundance? And where would you like it? Most people are going to say my bank account, okay? Because we're not stupid. And so we're going to be talking about that in more depth coming up in the master class. And like, so what do we do with that, right? Is that the best method of going about calling in abundance? So we're going to dig into that a little bit more deeply. But I want you to make the connection of this, right? If you guys know and you've heard me, all things are energy. I know, everyone just went, okay. All things are energy though. And so what happens is if I'm in alignment with my purpose and I feel really good, I feel really settled, steady, rooted, aware, self-aware of who I am, what I'm bringing to the world, how I bring that to the world, right? Then I am on fire. Hi, Kathleen. So this is what we want to think about is when I'm on fire and standing fully in my purpose and doing my thing, it's like an extra light in the world. So I want you to imagine if you were like a light bulb, right? You always have light in you. First of all, let me be very clear. You are absolutely made of abundance. You are absolutely created with purpose. So I want to be very clear, but for the purpose of our conversation today, right, to kind of like lay this out, I just wanted to kind of give us something to hang our hats on. So if I looked at you as a human being and I said, okay, in your purpose, you're like a light bulb. And if I sort of know, I sort of have an inkling, but I'm not really sure, I don't kind of care, my bulb is going to be kind of dim. Okay. If I stand firmly rooted in the power of what I've been gifted as a human being, my talents, my skills, the things that make me unique in the world, my unique energetic signature, I'm screaming. My bulb is like glowing, right? Like those backyard floodlights. I got a good story, backyard floodlight. Should I tell it here? Maybe. If I remember, I'll come back to the backyard floodlight story from the 4th of July. Anybody, if you're listening, you want to come back to that, let me know. Okay. So when we're standing in our purpose, we're like a backyard floodlight. You've ever been caught in one in the dark? You're like, good, right? Okay, right. So this is what you look like in the universe. So in the vastness of space, in the darkness of night, when you stand fully in your awareness of your purpose, you are like shining bright. And what happens is that it's like the universe wakes up and takes notice. And this is just a way to think about it, right? It's like if I was traveling in the dark of night, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a beacon. And so what happens is I feel like that magnetically draws in a really beautiful flow of abundance. And so I think abundance is attracted to when we shine the most, when we're standing fully in who we are, what we're meant to do, who we are, what we're bringing to the world. Hi, Patience, how are you, doll? So I want you to think about pulling that thread, right? I always kind of use this language because what it means is we're connecting dots. It's like when I'm in my purpose, I'm glowing like a black backyard floodlight, and I want to be out there in the world because what it's going to do is I'm in a natural state of joy and flow. Hear me say that. I'm typing that out. Look at that. I'm like taking notes as I go. Why is this so important? Again, because it's like a magnetic draw for abundance. I love it. Patience is like, I wish I could play music on here, but you can't because it gets us in trouble. So, because I would already be rocking out. I was already rocking out this morning to, oh my God. Kygo and Whitney Houston, Higher Love. I'm just going to tell you, I may have had a complete rock out session in my bathroom while I was getting ready this morning. Singing, dancing, whole 9 yards. Okay. So I'm feeling all of the vibes this morning. So a natural state of joy and flow is what we step into, which is why it's so important. That's really what alignment is, right? Alignment's like a fancy word. One of the things that can happen, particularly in my field, I know I'm guilty of it, is like use language. It's like everybody's like, what? What's that mean? All we're talking about is that we have our things in a row. Things are kind of tucked in, right? That's all alignment means. But I shouldn't say like all that means because it's a really big deal. But I want to just put it out there that my chair is, there we go. I'm sinking as we talk. Pretty soon I'll be like talking from the floor laying down. Okay. So purpose and alignment equals abundance. In my book, this is the way that I would mathematically do part of that equation. There's more equations coming, which is really funny how I laid out next month. So I'll be laying it out in a similar way for next month. We're talking about manifesting. We're going to dive deeper into that in the masterclass, but I want to just kind of drop it here. So what I want you to think about is, this is a game changer. This was a game changer for me. So hopefully it lands with you. It resonates for you. I want you to think this way. You have a relationship with every single thing in your life. When I say this to people, the first thing we think is people, right? Right. And I get it. Like, look at Jack is sleeping. I was leaning the wrong way. Ooh, he's so cute. Okay. My daughter was like, oh, we're our dogs. Does anybody have this experience with your dogs? Squirrel. Like, I'm serious. I can like be walking by a room and see them. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, just saying. So that was my experience just there. Just have a second. Okay. So what I want you to think about is you have a relationship with every single thing in your life. And so where I want you to imagine is not just people, right? Not just human beings, our family, our friends, our coworkers. Okay. You have a relationship with everything from food to money to purpose and abundance. And so my question for you was, right? So I want you to really think about this. So roll with me for a minute. If your abundance was a person in your life, if your relationship with abundance in your life was a person, what would they look and be like? Put it in the comments for me. If abundance in your life was a person, what would they look and be like? Would they be full of joy and deep connection and bliss, or would they be like, ooh, right? Like Eeyore. Like, tell me about who it would who it would be like, what it would be like. Because I really want you to start thinking about this idea of having a relationship with things. I love kind of coming at growth this way because I think it really gives us pause and kind of slows us down and we go, oh, if I have a relationship with this, what's my relationship like? What's the health of this relationship on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being like off the charts amazing and 0 is like it's in the dump? Where are you landing with that? Right? And at different points in your life, it's going to feel different. So I work with a lot of women in my coaching that at one point had their arms around their purpose and were squeezing tight. And they felt so connected and so good about it. And then somewhere in the fluffle of life, right? The fluffle, that was a made up word. They got disconnected and they realized they had all the things, but it didn't feel like it. And so in our lives, that's why I talk about making lane changes. Lane changes are adopting a new approach to living within our purpose. Okay. And so I want you to think about the relationship you have with abundance. And so I'm going to talk quickly about a little insight I had while I was floating in Mexico. So I just came back from vacation. I was in Mexico for a week. It was absolute bliss and paradise. I'm not kidding. Not to make anybody feel bad, but I'm just keeping it real. And so I had a week of ocean and a week of beautiful hydrotherapy and an incredible spa at a resort, or lounging in the swim up pool we had right outside of our room. There was just this really lovely amount of time in water. And so here's the symbolism that I came to as I was laying in the water and I was just floating. And I realized that there is something really profound that it takes us to lay back in water and let go, right? That very often our lives, what we're doing is we're gripping, we're hanging on to stuff. We're just like for dear life, right? We're going to make it happen, right? We're going to make it happen. I feel like a wrestler, like a big, WWF, is that what it's called? I don't know. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Right. So I'm a big wrestler and I'm like, I'm going to make this shit happen. Right. And so if by pure force, right. And I'm fiery. So trust me, I have a part of my personality that likes to just dive in. But the truth is that I think so much more happens in our lives when we let go. And this was a theme for one of my clients we were talking about last night. And she was like, I just keep seeing this message over and over and over again to let go. And so I was laying in this, and everybody else was scattered around the pool. I don't even know where my people were. They were somewhere around. And I was laying back in the water, and I'm just floating. I have my arms and my legs out, kind of like a starfish, and I'm just floating there. And it can't hear very well, of course, right? Your hair is kind of cut off because your ears were submerged. And in this sweet, still space, I was like, this is about trust. Laying here floating like this. And I want you to think about this, right? When you start swimming, does anybody remember this? I mean, the instinct is to grasp and right, like we kind of freak out. If you said to a new swimmer, like lift up your feet, what are they going to do? They're probably going to flail. And what's happening is the opposite instinct is to lay back and release, because your body will naturally do it for you, right? And so to me, one of the pieces that I really wanted to talk about this week, and I did have a vlog, Instagram didn't upload it. I don't even know what happened. I tried for 2 days. It was super weird. Instagram was having a minute, which it's had lately. Not my fave, where I can't upload my videos to y'all. So sorry about that. That it was about trust. And I really, truly believe that a piece of our relationship with abundance is trust. And so I want to know, if abundance was a person in your life, what would they be like? Okay, you can put that in the comments. And I want you to think about the relationship you have with abundance. So we're going to dive deeper into that next month in my Manifesting Abundance Masterclass, which is free, by the way. We're going to dive deeper into that for 40 days. And so I want you to be very clear. I am not going to be in your girl every day for 40 days. I promise, praise Jesus, you're welcome. I'm just creating the structure for you to do a kind of self-guided journey for 40 days where I will be checking in with you on Monday mornings. So I will be around. There'll be a private Facebook group because I wanted to have a space where people could kind of come in and talk through their journey and experiences. But I want you to be thinking about that relationship, and I want you to think about trust. So in good relationship, there's a trust. Ironically, in relationships with humans, we're often looking at the exchange of whether someone is trustworthy. And I also think that I would want to flip that on you a little bit and ask you, are you trustworthy for yourself? So for example, right, my daughter loves Oreo thins. This is just a dumb example that popped in my head right now because I was thinking of like, what's a food thing that, right, can she have those in the house and have a relationship with them that she can trust herself to not just go and eat 35 of them at a time? I don't even know that she does this. I'm guessing she doesn't. But I'm just giving you an example of like, okay, can I have something in my house I know is a temptation, right? Can I have a healthy relationship with that? Can I not sit and eat 35, but have 5 and move on with my day and have some more another time, right? When it comes to money, do I trust myself with a relationship with money? If I get money in my account, do I spend it right away, or do I have the capacity to manage that well for myself? So I really want you to be thinking about, right? So I'm sharing that example today because I want to get your head around that relationship you have with abundance, and do you trust it? Much like laying there floating in the ocean or floating in hydrotherapy and letting everything go. How do we do that, right? Because we have this idea of manifesting is work, strong arm it, right? So we're going to be talking about that next month. But like we have this idea of strong arming, like hustle, right? But what happens if we go, oh, I'm going to trust that it's going to show up? What happens? How does that make you feel? And the inside. So this is some of the stuff we're going to really be grappling with next month in the masterclass is like, what do we do with that? What do we do with being told that we're supposed to both hustle and let go? Like that's confusing as hell. Am I right? So we're going to be diving into some philosophical frameworks even next month. And how do we get our heads around this? And then you have to decide like what's good for you. I'm not going to tell you how to do all this. I'm going to give you structures. I'm going to put some things in place. We're going to use a couple of books to kind of help guide us. And the rest is up to you. This is a choose your own adventure. I'm never going to tell you how to do things. I'm going to give you ideas. I want you to think for yourself. I want you to examine for yourself. And one of the very first things we're going to do our first week is spend time. I believe it's in the first week. Let me look. Let me see if I can pull up my stuff. I want you to just be thinking about that. There we go. Let's see if I got this straight. Of course, it's not the first thing I would pick. Yep. The very first week is about awareness. And so I will be posing some questions. I'll probably have a quiz for you to take just so you start understanding that relationship you have with abundance right now so that you can take another one at the end and see where you're landing and if you've grown and changed and having new perspective, right? And so I just wanted to really pull this forward because I felt like this was a really super powerful thing. Like it's really different to think about in the world. If I'm a light in my purpose, and the more I stand in it and the more I'm stepping into my gifts and love and passion and joy, the more I glow. The more I glow, the more that abundance is called in. Okay. And so I think that they're directly related. And like I said, that's a state of joy, right? A pure state of joy and flow, which I think is kind of what calls in goodness. So how do we stand in more of that kind of state to receive and be in flow with abundance? And what the hell does that mean? That's another conversation. So, but I wanted to start with it. Purpose and alignment equals abundance. That's my mathematical equation. You can certainly think of it differently, but I really wanted you to spend time today. If abundance was a person in your life with your relationship, what do they look like? And do you have a trusting relationship with abundance in your life? So those are some things I really want you to be thinking about. If you want to go back and watch that vlog on trust, you're going to have to go to either Facebook, or you can find it on YouTube. So those are the two spots. And honestly, you can go to my website as well at anytime, and all my stuff is there. But I would say Facebook is definitely holding space for that. For some reason, my stuff did not, I don't know, upload to Instagram. Me and Instagram are like oil and water these days. I'm not sure what's happening. So that's where we are. Okay, so call to action. Here's the deal. The reason I'm educating and talking so much about abundance this month is because I've got a Manifesting Abundance Masterclass coming up next month. Beginning on Monday, September 12th, I will be coming in live at 7:30 in the morning Central Standard Time, and I will be hosting a live meditation. And every Monday of our Abundance Masterclass, I will be coming in and I will be hosting a live meditation for you on Zoom. So it's free. It costs you nothing. I do need your email. So that's why I have you go and sign up through my website. Super easy. You can go to laughinglotuswellness.com/abundance. And that's where you go sign up. It's literally, there's buttons with steps so that you know exactly what to do. And so if you want to get your hands on the book we're going to be using for that journey, I have two, but I'm going to use one that's really easy to get your hands on. And it's one of the templates we're going to be using and talking about, but it's not the only one. So you can go and get all that information right on my website, get signed up there, super easy. And again, free. So I would love to have you come and join us to dive more deeply into these ideas. And what you're going to get to take away from that masterclass are handouts. Like I said, we're going to start with the quiz, and the first week, every single week has a theme. And dirty that way. You guys have, if you've been following me, you know each month of my content has a theme. So every week of our journey of 40 days is going to have a theme. Much of it self-guided. I'm going to give you the structure for how to do that. That's what I'm there to do, is help guide. And then we're going to have a private Facebook community so that for the duration of this 40 days, you have a space to go in, ask questions, drop motivational things, share your wins, share your excitement about what abundance is flowing into your life. That is really raises the vibration of every single person included in it. And so what I wanted to do was make a space to really tie those two things together, that abundance and purpose. And so one of the weeks, I know that we'll spend some time kind of digesting that as well. But I invite you to come and get signed up for that. Share this with a friend, a family member. If there's somebody that you're like, you know what, I know somebody that would really enjoy spending some time working in this. Here's what I'm going to tell you that is a truth for me, that was a takeaway in my life. When I did this myself, and I will be doing this journey with you, by the way, the 40 days is not just something you're doing. I will be doing it with you. So I'm right alongside this journey. I'm going to tell you that abundance is more complicated than we think. And when I asked my membership last night, like, what questions do you have? What challenges do you have? And they were laying them out. And I'm like, this is exactly coming into next month, because there is so much more depth to it than we think, right? Like I said, the first kind of thing we say abundance, and the first thing most of us think is wealth and money. And that's not all of it. That's actually really scratching super, super tiny amount of the surface of what abundance really is. So I want to invite you to dive more deeply with us in community, to hold space and learn and grow for yourself, and what it means to live a more abundant lifestyle, to have a more abundant mindset. And I want you to learn the fine art of laying back in the water and floating in trust with it. And if you imagine that water that I was laying in is the trust, right? The faith, and that the floating is the abundance, my ability to just stay there and let go and release and be present, right? And know I'm going to be held. That's a relationship with faith and trust, right? So I want you to be thinking about that. You have a relationship with abundance, you have a relationship with faith and trust. Where are you on that spectrum? How is that showing up for you in your life, right? One more thought. This is sometimes where I see women come in and go, I don't know if I can leave. I don't think I can leave my safety and security of my job. I don't know. I have this big corporate gig and I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe $500,000 a year. I don't know that I can give that up. What happens? What will people think if I do that? Right? What happens to my responsibility? There's all kinds of questions and fears that come in. And are they coming from a place of trust and faith? So these are the very things I end up talking with people about in coaching and in membership, because these are the relationship things we want to take a look at. We want to understand more deeply. So come and spend time with me in self-awareness and growth in the month of September. It is going to be glorious. I'm literally so excited about it, and starting to put together all the content and things like that. The things I'm going to send out to y'all, I've already made some videos. So there's stuff coming together. People are signing up. And so things are really coming together for this. And I'm so excited. So I really, truly hope that you'll come and hang out with us, try this on and have a different experience. See if we can't shift the relationship that you have with abundance in your life, right? Let's take a run at it and see what happens. And again, if you're ready to sign up for that, that's laughinglotuswellness.com/abundance. So until next time, my friends, I'm sending you blessings, love, and light on your journey as you rise on your path to purpose, and look forward to seeing you in that Manifesting Abundance Masterclass. Take care, everybody.